welcome, I'm Bob Saul, and so happy that we're all here today for a very sacred ceremony of inviting in a new guiding teacher inside Santa Cruz. And I want to just first just offer an acknowledgement of this land that we are in, which is the Amalucan tribal band, as well as this particular area in Santa Cruz was the former Chinatown. So I just want a moment just to acknowledge those that were in the land prior. And I also want to just acknowledge this particular complex, which is known as the Galleria. It's, I don't know how to even describe this, but it's so many therapists, meditation centers that are also in this area. And somehow this feels right in the spirit of healing and peace. I just want to acknowledge, I know there's a lot of difficult times in our world. So I am a co-guided teacher, and my dear colleague, I'm looking over here, Mary Grace, is the other co-guiding teacher inside Santa Cruz, as well as the founder of inside Santa Cruz, and she's going to begin.
Bob, did you ask me to say something?
Yeah, so I've given the land acknowledgement and then turning it over to you for some welcome, and then I'll leave this sitting.
Thank you. It's the internet is a little iffy, of course. So, but yes, I simply would like to add my welcome to Bob's. I find myself, not too surprisingly to many of you, a little bit teary as I look at you all up there. It's been quite a journey these last months, and we'll say some more about that later. So it is a great joy to be here at this installation and blessing of our new teacher and Insight Santa Cruz.
All right, well, thank you. And we'll begin with a short sit just to help us to arrive and be present for 5 minutes. And I'm happy to say that actually just looked at the schedule more closely. We'll have another 5 minutes or so. So just taking some time to land, from presence, acknowledging the body, the rising within, acknowledging the thoughts and emotions as they all come and go. Just sitting in the midst of this life, being mindful of whatever's coming down to you. And grasping at nothing is resistance. Kindly attending and being present. Whatever is prominent in this time as it comes and goes. So we all beings discover the gateways into their hearts to grow with greater wisdom and compassion. And all beings be with peace.
So as Bob and I planned our gathering today, we thought I would lead off for a little bit at this point. One of the sayings that's come to mind as I pondered this day is, it's actually a Zen saying, I think, that talks about the lineage going from warm hand to warm hand and the teachings going from warm hand. And today it feels like we have many warm hands to pass our center on to Dawn Neal. In a little bit, as Bob, when Bob takes over again, you're going to hear some about an incredibly long list of qualifications to be a teacher at Insight Santa Cruz. It's a little scary, actually, but it talks about things like embodying wisdom and humility and virtue, the 5 precepts, thoughtfulness, loving kindness, compassion, skilled and wise speech and communication, empathy, deep listening, spiritual leader of the center, has many years of practice, retreats, and instruction, and has been fully authorized. I was impressed with the list and amazed, actually, that I ever even got to teach there. So the guiding teacher is really one who guides and leads, and strikes me today as it's a bit like stepping into the shoes of a bodhisattva or the Buddha, perhaps, themselves. And we've been doing this here at Insight Santa Cruz in various locations, but in Santa Cruz for the last, I think it's about 34 years at this point. And so, back in the beginning, Gil and I and Robert Hall and John Travis were this little training group with Jack Cornfield. And at some point he said, you guys should go out and start your sitting groups. So Gil went off into Palo Alto and that part of the Bay Area. And I, of course, was in Santa Cruz. And we started, I think in those days we were at the Zen Center in Santa Cruz. Little tiny group, and then gradually it grew and grew, outgrew the Zen Center, more classes, day-longs. Ultimately, we had an annual retreat. And somewhere in there, I actually can't remember quite when, Bob came along. I remember the day I met him quite clearly. And at that time, he was a student of Rena Sircar and getting very involved in doing the work with John Kabat-Zinn, but also became a kind of a sidekick and a helper and a dear friend, and began to help out times when I would be gone and that kind of thing. And so when it became clear that I was going to leave and come over here to live in Hawaii, it seemed quite logical that we would take our warm hands and offer Bob the great joy of teaching for Insight Santa Cruz. And I do want to mention here that I really found that I wanted to thank him in front of all of you for these last 9 months. It has been an incredible joy to be back together again and working together again and being able to be of some help to Insight Santa Cruz as it recovers from COVID and from a sudden change in teachers. So thank you, dear Bob. I really so appreciate it. So Bob became the next teacher, and he will take over the storytelling line at this point.
Yeah, and Mary Grace, I thank you too. It's been just such a pleasure to be with you these past 9 months. And it's kind of 9 months old. We're giving birth to something new here, and I know that our dear friendship will continue on in many ways. And I love you. It's true. And yeah, so Mary Grace invited me to become the guiding teacher in 2011. And I very hesitantly and humbly said, okay, but I'm going to do it for 10 years. And as it turned out, it was 10 years to the day. It was December 11th, 2021 that we had met JD earlier and invited JD to become the next guiding teacher. And it was on 10 years to the day we bestowed JD with the guiding teachership. And of course, this was in the middle of the pandemic and not a very easy time. We were not even open as far as having classes here, and it became clear to JD, and I thank them for stepping in at such a challenging time and to try to move things forward as best as they could, and we all could. And after about a year or so, JD realized that this was more than maybe just say the word that they used was a mismatch. And so everything is a stepping stone, and I think we all thank JD for the service of serving inside Santa Cruz. And when it became clear to them that they were going to step down, Mary Grace and I came in as the interim co-guiding teachers, and we began a journey of helping the center along, as well as looking for a guiding teacher. We spread the word out and asked our friend Gil if he knew of anyone, and as time evolved, he said, I have a student that I think would be a really good match. And here we are, Dawn Neal sitting next to me. And it was interesting, Mary Grace and I, we met first Dawn online, and we asked Dawn a very kind of a simple question: well, why would you want to do this? And the answer was very simple, and it totally caught Mary Grace and I off guard. And she just simply said, very deeply and passionately, I love people. And there was something about how you said it, just like there's something warm and welcoming, and it's quite clear her love of the Dharma is very deep. And actually, I'll just say something about Dawn. I wrote this down. That Buddhist teacher, the Insight Meditation tradition, holds a master's from the Institute of Buddhist Studies at the Graduate Theological Union, specializing in Theravada Buddhism and pastoral care and counseling. She's worked as an interfaith spiritual care professional and chaplain at Stanford Healthcare. And while not working on a retreat, she serves the community. While not working or on retreat, she serves the community as a coach, facilitator, Buddhist teacher, and scholar. And now I'll have to add, and now serving as a guiding teacher of Insight Santa Cruz is why we're here. So, yeah, just deeply, Mary Grace and I were very touched with her love of people. And it's been interesting in these months getting to know Dawn more. I can really sense in my bones that's really true. And there's a real warmth and care, depth of the certain type of wise maturity that so I'm very grateful for you coming on, and Mary Grace and I will be happy to be of support, enduring support, as we step back and we step forward, if you will. So I think, Mary Grace, I'm turning it back to you.
Thank you, dear heart. Yeah, as I reflect on this time, so many things have kind of come together in a way that it just felt almost from the start of our beginning to look around for, okay, who's going to help out here some, and who will take over as the guiding teacher. And one thing just sort of led to another. It almost felt, I don't know, I at some point I thought maybe we're inhabiting some realm where the devas and the bodhisattvas are there just to say, look here and look there and do this and do that. It was all so fortuitous. having Tenzin be there to help out, and then Dawn, and meeting her the way Bob described it was such a surprise and so delightful. I don't know why I was surprised, but nonetheless I was. And then, there was the day when neither Tenzin nor Dawn knew each other, and we said, well, maybe it'd be a good idea if you guys met. And we had this amazing meeting on Zoom, and Bob and I we kind of felt like grandparents watching two kids fall in love, actually. It was so delightful just to see these two people go, oh, wow, there's all kinds of things we could do together. So it's just, those of you who know me well, many times I've said, I don't know why this is working. And maybe the final piece, the final icing on the cake was it turned out Bob helped Dawn to find a little apartment for her to live in that she really, really liked. But then it turned out that a studio that had been offered for Dawn was perfect for Tenzin. So everybody gets new homes out of this, as well as the joy of being at Insight Santa Cruz. So we're going to move into the actual installation at this point. So let's just take a breath together. And what I want to say is we're going to have a couple of readings now, and both of them from the suttas. And I invite the whole community to listen to these readings as though they are for you. These are not just for Dawn. These are for the whole community to hear and take in, partly because later on we actually are going to ceremonially ask all of you also to say, yes, you will support Dawn in her role. So I think Evie is the first reading.
So this reading mentions Anuruddha, who is one of 3 disciples who were living and practicing together. And the Buddha came to check on them and see how they were doing. Anuruddha replied, surely, Venerable Sir, we are living in comfort with mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with kindly eyes. But how do you live thus? Venerable Sir, as to that, I think thus. It is a gain for me, it is great gain for me, that I am living with such companions in the holy life. I maintain bodily acts of loving kindness towards those venerable ones, both openly and privately. I maintain verbal acts of loving kindness towards them, both openly and privately. I maintain mental acts of loving kindness toward them, both openly and privately. I consider, why should I not set aside what I wish to do and do what these venerable ones wish to do? Then I set aside what I wish to do and do what these venerable ones wish to do. We are different in body, Venerable Sir, but one in mind.
This is from the Samyutta Nikaya. Go forth over the earth. Once the Buddha addressed his awakened followers. My friends, I am free of all human and divine entanglements. And as you are also free of all human and divine entanglements, go forth into the world for the good of the many, for the happiness of the many, with compassion for the world and for the benefit, the blessing, and the happiness of the gods and the humans. Do not two of you go out on the same road. Teach Dharma that is good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. Reveal the spiritual love, complete and pure in spirit and in form.
So I'm going to read this list of qualities, role of guiding teacher. The guiding teacher embodies wisdom, humility, virtue, high precepts, thoughtfulness, loving kindness, and compassion. The guiding teacher is skilled in wise speech and communication with empathy and deep listening. The guiding teacher is the spiritual leader of the center. The guiding teacher has many years of practice, retreats, and instruction, and has been fully authorized and empowered to be a Buddhist insight teacher from the senior insight teacher. The guiding teacher holds the vision and mission of Insight Santa Cruz. The guiding teacher sets the standard for ethical conduct at Insight Santa Cruz. The guiding teacher is able to lead others in wisdom, kindness, discernment, and compassion. The guiding teacher can teach retreats, classes, sittings, and day-longs. The guiding teacher can offer teachings that are relatable to both new and experienced students. The guiding teacher offers opportunities for practice discussions. The guiding teacher is responsible for the training and supervision for Insight Santa Cruz practitioners, assessing their readiness for Dharma teaching and mentoring. The guiding teacher will be responsible for all programming at Insight Santa Cruz with the support from the program committee. The guiding teacher ensures programs serve to deepen and broaden understanding of Buddhist practice, are congruent with Insight Santa Cruz Dharma vision, and are informed by the Insight Santa Cruz mission and diversity statements. The guiding teacher will be connected in collegial way with teachers from Insight Meditation Center, Insight Meditation Society, Spirit Rock, other Buddhist communities. The guiding teacher oversees and supports Insight Santa Cruz interfaith programming created by the advisor to the guiding teacher and others. The guiding teacher serves on the Insight Santa Cruz board. The guiding teacher has administrative capacity to guide Insight Santa Cruz and works well with the board teachers and Sangha. The guiding teacher may form a teacher's council of other teachers or local Dharma leaders at his, her, or their discretion. The guiding teacher is responsible for selecting the next guiding teacher with support from the board and the search committee, or search committee. The guiding teacher participates in visioning and planning for the future of Insight Santa Cruz with the board of directors and teachers. The guiding teacher attends all Insight Santa Cruz board meetings, and if unable to come, designates a teacher to be there to represent the guiding teacher. The Insight Santa Cruz mission statement is to support anyone interested in the path of awakening and liberation through mindfulness and loving kindness. To support this mission, Insight Santa Cruz offers a variety of classes and practice opportunities that help to cultivate wisdom and compassion inspired by the Theravada Buddhist tradition. The Insight Santa Cruz teachers provide guidance, support, and inspiration to develop integrity, ethical living, steadiness of mind, concentration, insight into the causes of suffering and the path to freedom, wisdom. Insight Santa Cruz and its teachers charge no fees and are solely sustained through generosity and volunteer support, which we've done for the last 34 years. This model of service and generosity awakens and gladdens the heart and has deep roots in ancient Buddhism. The diversity statement Insight Santa Cruz welcomes everyone. We respect and support all people no matter of their ethnic origin, race, gender, cultural background, socioeconomic class, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, or physical ability. What we all share is the intention to grow in mindfulness and compassion and to lessen suffering. May the awareness of the needs of our diverse communities continue to be recognized and to grow in our center. May we, to the best of our ability, take actions that eliminate cultural, racial, ethnic, economic, and physical barriers to practice. May we heal the experiences of separation. May we all know the commonality of our nature for the benefit of all beings everywhere. May all beings dwell with peace. I think Mary Grace, you're on.
No, Bob, you haven't asked her the question yet.
Okay, take it on my knees. Come on, you accept.
I do accept.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Do you accept becoming a guiding teacher for a second time?
Yes, I do accept.
Tatyampi for third time. Do you accept becoming the guiding teacher?
Tatyampi, I accept becoming the guiding teacher of Insight Santa Cruz.
And I'll just say one other thing that I heard this actually, someone had shared with me at a Zen center when the abbot was going to take the mountain seat. It was asked of the abbot, and they had to answer correctly. How do you serve the Sangha? And the abbot said, serve yourself. And then the second question was, how do you serve yourself? Serve the Sangha.
Serve the Sangha. Okay. So since we're a little bit ahead of schedule, let's just take a couple of minutes. We're going to do some loving kindness practice, but I think, a few minutes of just taking in what we've just done. Let Dawn take in what she's just done. And, yes, anyway. And we'll breathe together, and then I'll guide us in a very short loving kindness practice before we move on to the rest of the ceremony. So it's a pleasure to do loving kindness practice at a time of such great joy and gratitude. So as we're all sitting here, breathing in and breathing out, being aware of the sitting, breathing body, I invite you first to breathe in and then breathe out goodwill and friendliness and gratitude into every cell of your body. Keep it really simple, just breathing in and breathing out. Holding ourselves with friendliness and goodwill and gratitude. And then I actually would invite all of you who are in the room with Dawn and all of us who are on Zoom to open your eyes. We're going to focus for just a moment again on Dawn. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I invite you to extend your goodwill, your gratitude, your joy directly to Dawn. I hope she can feel it. She looks like she can. Breathe in, breathe out. wishing Dawn every good thing. May she be happy and peaceful and have ease of well-being as she takes on this role. And may she and all around her find freedom during this time. And then let yourself be aware of the whole community gathered here to practice, those in Insight Santa Cruz itself and all of us in the Zoom world, and extend that same goodwill, that same friendliness, gratitude for the way that we are able to gather together again to each other. May we all have ease of well-being. May we all find freedom. May we all be peaceful. And then opening out to the wider community, to the community of Santa Cruz, to this world which seems to be so terribly troubled right now. And extend again that same friendliness and goodwill out into the world, perhaps with a small prayer that Insight Santa Cruz will be at least a tiny beacon of light in such a time. May all beings have ease of well-being and happiness and peace. And then if you want to get really big, you can include the whole planet, all of the people, all of the creatures of the earth and the air and the water, all of the plant beings who share this planet with us, and the earth and the air and the water themselves. May all, the whole beautiful world, have ease and peace. May all beings be happy. So now another breath, letting yourself resonate a little with all those wishes of goodwill, all of that gratitude. And here's the point where the community gets to do their thing. So I'm going to ask you if you will support Dawn, and I want to hear a rousing "we do" from everybody in the room. So, dear community of Insight Santa Cruz, will you support Dawn in her role as your new guiding teacher?
I will.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We do. We will.
Do. Will.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Actually, pass this to Gil. I'm inviting Gil as Dawn's primary teachers and offer some blessings. You have like about 10 minutes. Okay, well, is it more?
So that was an impressive list that Bob read and what you're going to be doing here. And I imagine what it'd be like if I was sitting in your seat. I would be nervous. Really? So if you're not a little bit nervous, then I'm going to be even more worried. I think it's expected that that's a big daunting challenge to have all that. And for the Inside Santa Cruz community, I'm so happy for Dawn, happy for all of you. It's a big deal to have a transition into a community, coming kind of from the outside, or very much from the outside. And this transition has happened many, many times over the millennia, usually when someone, Abbas dies. And so here we have living the warm hand to warm hand, hugging. So it's kind of special. And so just know that there's lots of support for you. That and Dawn coming here, she's intimately connected to IMC in Redwood City, to communities in San Francisco. Your Inside Santa Cruz is part of this wide web of people who want to support you all and want to see you be successful. You're not just doing it alone. Dawn's not just doing it alone. So there'll be support for you all. And I've been involved in
some way or other in contact with all the generations of teacher training that we've had in the Insight community over these last 34 years. And there's actually very, very few of those people, very few, who could step into being a resident Dharma teacher for a urban meditation center like this. Most of the people trained in our scene really want to be retreat teachers. And they're not that interested in the kind of pastoral care that involves taking care of a community. Dawn is one of the few people that I know, maybe the only one I know, who's better trained for this role than anybody else in our scene. She has so many different interests and hearts and skills and trainings that it's really phenomenal that there's someone in our whole wide scene who has her kind of skill and interest. So she comes, and it's pretty fantastic. It's not an easy role to step into, but I don't think anybody else is more prepared. There's two things that I've seen over the years that I want to mention in our kind of wider Insight community. One is not being discerning. The other is being too discerning. And there is a naive kind of acceptance of everyone and not really seeing the individuality and the uniqueness and specialness of everyone. The analogy of the like water and milk is kind of inspiring and kind of not. Because it doesn't, implies we're somehow all going to become one with the same somehow. And then the too discerning is we have a long history in probably in religions in general, but certainly in the Insight community of putting a magnifying glass on every little thing that the other people are doing. Like in the closer you get in, the more that magnifying glass, you have to hit, thread the needle just perfectly. You have to have just the right superglue, just the right, connection to X, Y, and Z. But then everyone has different ideas of what the perfect thing is. And so then poor people who are in roles like us, I mean, the amount of expectation and demands and lobbying and standards we're held up against is phenomenal. I'll be in the same day have people come from two different sides wanting to diametrically opposing things, as if this is the most natural thing that should happen in the world. So it is being. Don't be too accepting of Dawn. Don't have no discernment, but don't do the microscope thing. Don't ever cast her out of your heart, and never cast anyone who comes through these doors out of your heart. I think that's one of the things I like to believe, that what we're committed to as a community is never ever turn our back on anyone. No one's ever not allowed to come in here and be included and seen as part of the community. So even if they're so different from you and have different orientation even, the first thing is like, let's hold them widely and wide open heart always. And let's figure out how to be brilliantly discerning, really to see clearly what's going on and how to help each other and support each other. And then I think we'll all thrive and find a way forward, because we're all supposed to be growing. There's no end in Dharma growth. So none of us ever have it. Isn't that great? It's always an aspiration. So I was supposed to do a blessing for Dharma as part of this. I'm not really sure what a blessing is. So, but I think that the first thing that occurs to me is the way that to bless you is to encourage you to do a self-blessing. Bless yourself. And here's how to do it. Be skilled in the good. And know the concept, the path of peace. Be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech. Be humble and not conceited. contented and easily supported, unburdened by all the duties you're taking on, and easy to support. Be peaceful and calm, and wise and skillful. Don't be proud or demanding in nature. Don't do anything that belies what you're doing. Spend your time in a community where hopefully you feel happy and safe. Wishing everyone happiness. Not just in this community, but out beyond these walls into the wider community of Santa Cruz. Out further and further, so that no one is left out. Include everyone, the weak and the strong and the ignorant, the mighty and the great, the medium, short and small, those seen and unseen, those near and far away, those to be born, those born and to be born, those you know and those you don't know, those who are similar to you and those that are different from you, those who are coming in future generations, those in this generation who are going to be passing on. Everything. Wish them happiness, wish them joy, wish them peace. Your job is to be thinking about what's the best for everyone here. Supporting every goodness, the benefits of all beings. And that way you self-bless yourself. And as my blessing for you, I'm confident you can do it. You have a good heart, you have dedication, you have inspiration, you have the self-awareness, you have practice, and you have a love of the Dharma that will support you and guide you through all this. And I'm so happy for you, really. So happy for the Inside Santa Cruz community, and so happy for the world that you're stepping into this wonderful role. Congratulations.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So, I want to just also acknowledge, of course, dear Mary Grace, and Padre here, but wanted to also just really acknowledge the teachers of Insight Santa Cruz, the boards. Linda Kittle, who's not on the board, but has been, she's actually sitting in a retreat right now, otherwise she's here in our hearts. Administrator, community. I just want to thank everyone in this time of transition and joining together and feeling with we're much better now. So may it continue on. And I want to invite, I know there was some teachers here that were invited to this ceremony, and want to just offer for a short pithy, if there's any of you teachers would like to share something, I can, would you be okay to come up? Thank you so much. And we'd love to just invite some of the teachers to offer a few blessings as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reverend Guy Jacqueline Hintz, and I have the honor of being Dawn's academic advisor, being friend, I hope. And it's and also, I mentioned Roberts and I are the teachers at Ocean Gate Zen Center in Capitola. So I'm very happy to extend my and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for dancing. May not be able to be here, but there's a topic. So, welcome to the community of Santa Cruz, to the community of Dharma teachers here in Santa Cruz, and as your former academic advisor and friend, I'm dancing.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? And I also include Insight Santa Cruz teachers as well. And then we'll have something a little bit later for the Sangha too, so no, everyone is included. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lori. I'm a rabbi and a chaplain, and have worked for years with your new guiding teacher, Dawn, at Stanford Hospital. So I have seen Dawn at bedside, providing the kind of unconditional, positive regard and skill and care. And so I know from my own experience that you are in wise, skillful hands. And for you, Dawn, may you feel held not only by this community, but the wider Santa Cruz community, by the community of spiritual leaders here in Santa Cruz. And may you feel held by the ocean and the rocks and the trees. And may all of this be a healing for you, even as you help everyone here find their own healing.
The invitation continues for any of our guests or any of our teachers at Insight. Welcome to come up and say a few words. We bring it to you.
You guys know how to let the fall asleep. Thank you. That pandemic was a rough time. It was really rough time for the whole Sangha, for everyone. And I really was very close with JD and really valued what they brought. And it was sad for me that it turned out to not be of the right fit for them. And I was so happy to meet you, Tenzin. So happy that even though it's not the right fit for you to be in this role, that you're still going to be here supporting Dawn. Dawn, thank you so much for all of the meetings that we've had on the program committee and your lifetime of work that has brought you to be here. And I feel so good about your heart. This guy, I love this guy. I came in after Mary Grace when this guy's been my teacher and I love him. I was really worried about the heart. I'm like, who can give that mama bear love like that? You know? And so thank you. That you feel that love.
I can bring it to you too. Full space. If you other people would like to share and the teachers. We'll invite Diane to come up from the board. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I have the distinct pleasure of just taking a brief moment to speak on behalf of the board to honor what Mary Grace and Bob have brought to us historically and most specifically in this 9 months of transition and walking through the unknown. And there are many board members, former, current, and future board members here. We are you and you are us. There is no separation. We just currently have the opportunity to bring the Dharma forward in service of the Sangha. So when JD made the decision that it was not the right fit, our hearts were heavy. And it was a confluence of, as many have mentioned before me, a difficult time on many levels. And Mary Grace and Bob stepping in was the most tremendous gift. We were all kind of misty and teary when we were talking with them at the last board meeting that they attended about what they brought because some of it is easy to describe in words and some of it is nearly impossible to describe. So what comes to mind is two paths that they walked concurrently with us for all those months while holding our hand across the paths throughout. One was the very strategic, tangible, specific, there's work to be done. We want to ensure that we are supporting the vibrancy of the center, that folks have access both online and in person, that we're building this program, that the program committee feels held and heard, and doing that work concurrently with beginning in earnest the search for who we are so blessed to have found to be this right fit for our community. At the same time they were doing that strategic work, there was another path, the second path they were walking, which was harder to describe verbally, which was holding us. Because we felt a concern, a heaviness, wanting to deliver on our role as servants to the Triple Gems. And we were stumbling. We were trying to find how to make that happen. And when Bob and Mary Grace started meeting with us, they were really holding us and lifting us. And the acronym that came to mind driving over here was WISE. They brought wisdom, insight, sincerity, and equanimity. And all the while that you brought that, and looking at the camera, you, Mary Grace, brought that, it was with such tremendous heart. And as a result, we caught this wave of momentum. First, just the faith and confidence, like we're going to land on our feet. Everything happens for a reason and a purpose. We're going to be okay. And then watching them model, walking the Eightfold Path in all of their speech and actions inspired us to step up and do it with them hand in hand. So when this tremendous outcome came of the tapping of the shoulder of first Tenzin and then Dawn, and we started to begin to have conversations with all four of them, what a gift, what a blessing, what a moment of filling the heart beyond words. So that was all put in motion and driven by the tremendous generosity of Mary Grace. Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts. And you, Bob, thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts. There really is no way to express what they brought, how they brought it, the path forward that they showed us, except to hold them in our hearts forever. And finally, to give Dawn all of the love and generosity and support and our best attempt at the wisdom that was modeled for us by our founding teacher and senior guiding teacher in Mary Wilson Bob. So as you would say, dear Bob, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, and thank you all for being here.
We'll just sit for a few moments, just taking all of this in. I'm going to be inviting Dawn for some words of acceptance.
Hey friends, dear Sangha, can everyone hear me okay? Great. I have a notoriously quiet voice. If I start to drop, one of you in the back start doing something. I know. Jim, thank you for putting everyone on gallery view. I'm taking a moment, I'm not looking at you, dear Zoom viewers, but I am seeing so many friends, files, names, videos, people from all over. And it just brings me delight. It brings me delight to see each of you. Friends from many different walks of life, traditions, Buddhist and otherwise, family. Hi, Mom and Dad. It fills my heart to see you, as well as to see all of you here and know that there are people in the next room too, who I can't see, but I feel the metta through my back. Warm appreciation for everyone who's here. I am a little bit nervous, Gil.
Good. I can relax that.
And mostly what I am is I'm humbled and I'm inspired, really inspired. So there's this mix of that elation and that happiness. And gosh, this feels big. And I'm really honored to be stepping into it. Thank you. I'm inspired really also by the kindness, by the commitment, by the dedication that I've seen in all of the practitioners, all of the community members here at Insight Santa Cruz. It really moved me to start to get to know this community. It really did. And what Bob conveyed about me saying, yes, I do love people, that is a big part of it. Maybe all of it. And the inspiration from you all. The resiliency in these times of challenge, the stepping up, the belongingness, the dedication, both from the long-term practitioners here and from fairly new practitioners who are stepping in and showing up. It's really inspiring. And also, just want to say that in stepping into this leadership role, I'm first and foremost, I'm a practitioner, just like you and you. I love the Dharma. I love to practice in community. And I'm just incredibly grateful that this love gets to be expressed through being a teacher here at Insight Santa Cruz, a part of this community. Right? And as part of that practice, I plan to make myself available to you, Insight Santa Cruz members, to support you in your own Dharma journey, in your own individual path, and to support all of us in building the intimacy community together. I believe that Sangha is made up of the people who practice together, in person and online. In the guiding teacher role, I committed to a lot of stuff, so I can hardly believe I'm committing to more here. I commit to remaining faithful to the teachings and the practice and the lineage as I understand them. I also commit to uphold and be accountable to the Buddha, the Dharma, this Sangha, and my dear Kalyana Mitta, many of whom are in this room, personally and virtually. The Sangha, this broader Sangha, is made up of the people who practice together. Sangha is also unified by practicing together. In midst of all of our diverse identities, orientations, beliefs, backgrounds, life experiences, abilities, ethnicities, cultures, let's find a way to practice together, to support each other. Let's find unity in diversity. Let's find ways to cultivate more peace, more goodness, more wisdom in our individual hearts, in each other, and in the broader world around us to really use it. Let's find unity in our diversity. Sangha is also a community of spiritual friends, and in that regard, I really particularly want to thank Mary Grace and Bob, who have become dear spiritual friends on this journey, this discernment. I didn't know I was going to say yes at the beginning of all of this. We had just a beautiful and very authentic, sincere unfolding of conversations and sharing of our hearts over these past months. I'm very grateful to both of you, as dear spiritual friends. Thank you. I'm also just inspired to be in community with and working with the board, all of you, practicing with you, and with all of the other wonderful volunteers here at ISD in Santa Cruz. It's just feeds my practice to see your practice and your service. As the Sangha is made up of the people who practice together, I'm also really grateful to be in community with all of the teachers and leaders here at ISD. Many of you are in this room, in the next room, and in the Zoom room. And I really look forward to getting to know you better, to practicing with you, working with you, being mutual support. Community, Sangha, is made up of the people who practice together, who support each other. I'm also deeply grateful for the friendships and collegial relationships with many of you here from other Buddhist traditions, other lineages, the monastic Sangha, the insight meditation broader Sangha, and from other spiritual and religious traditions. Many of us here are united in our hearts by a commitment to non-harming, to ethical behavior, and common love. I think of you all as a kind of Mahasangha, a greater Sangha of interlinked communities. All of us, like Insight Santa Cruz people, cultivating more love, more compassion, more freedom, more sense of community in our own hearts, hearts around us, and in the broader world. Thank you for your presence, your friendship, and your support. So, dear Sangha, I'm grateful and a little nervous to be stepping in at this time of transition with you, this time of new beginnings, new arisings. I trust will be companions on the path. as we care for inside Santa Cruz, as we care for each other, and as we care for the broader Internet communities. Community, Sangha, is made up of the people who practice together, support each other, and walk our different paths in solidarity with each other. Thank you all very much for your show of support, here, near, or far. And I feel enthusiastic, really joyful about the opportunity to share the Dharma and to share practice and serve the Dharma in the Insight Santa Cruz community. Many thanks. And now, speaking of walking together with companions on the path, I would like to invite my new spiritual friend, not that new anymore, 6 months old friendship now, to come up. And to introduce you, those of you who don't know her, this is Tenzin Choki. And in these past months, she's become a good spiritual friend, co-teacher, and valuable sounding board already. Tenzin, I feel so grateful, really blessed to have someone with your depth, your wisdom, your amount of organizational experience, and your heart walking this path alongside me and supporting, advising during this time of transition. I couldn't be more delighted that you're here. And I'm hoping that you will accept this invitation to be my advisor, aid, and support. You accept.
Thank you. I'm a little on the spot and I accept.
You're a lot on the spot. Thank you. We have a couple of minutes if there's anything that you would like to say.
Yeah, thank you. I've been kind of Insight Santa Cruz adjacent for more than 30 years since meeting Mary Grace and Gil and Bob and John Travis in association with Butter Bunny Institute, where I was living when they all kind of wandered up to see if they could do a retreat there. So we have a long history, and I'm really delighted to be here with you all today. And just to echo what so many people have said, you know, when Dawn and I first met, I was immediately really impressed by her scholarship, her depth of practice, and the care, which so many people have mentioned, you know, the heart that she brings and the care for people. And one of the things that's clear as we got to know each other that we both share is just this real priority for relationship and community and care for people. And so that was really what inspired me to think that, you know, collaborating and just trying to help support Dawn in this new role would really be a good fit. So I look forward both to what she has to offer to Insight and the evolution, and also just what this role will offer to you and how you'll be able to develop, you know, your practice. And I know for myself, from being in similar roles for so many decades, what an amazing opportunity for development it is. Like really, really kind of unlike no other. And so I'm really excited to see how it all unfolds. So congratulations, and happy to support you in whatever way I can. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tenzin. I'm just going to say a brief final word. Most of you know, some of you might not, we're of different Buddhist tradition. And one of the things that's really special to me is how unified we feel around this love of people, this care, and this commitment to community. It's such a natural and harmonious fit. So please join me in welcoming you. Thank you for saying yes.
So I think it's up to me at this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So before I launch into the next piece, I just want to say I did not expect to need so much Kleenex during this celebration. I find myself weeping pretty regularly, and not, of course, sadness, but tears of such great joy. It's just a bit overwhelming, actually. So, but I'm an old lady, I get overwhelmed easily, so maybe that's it. But I think mostly it's because it's so good. So we would like to invite Susan now to come up and lead the beginning of the blessings for Dawn from the Sangha.
Well, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me okay? Well, a warm welcome to this truly auspicious event. Auspicious, meaning worthy of honoring. We are all sharing together this morning, very special. And I just want to begin with a bow to the triple gem, to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And also I would like to add a fourth bow, honoring and blessing this new light and new energy coming our way from Dawn and from Tenzin. A deep bow of gratitude. And we can all as Sangha connect with, and we can celebrate this new energy that brought us here today and that unites us as Sangha. And from our hearts, we each can express our deepest gratitude, our deepest aspirations for our community, and our well wishes for this auspicious setting for this new beginning here at Insight Santa Cruz, guided by the beauty and wisdom of all the teachings given here over the years at ISC, and guided by the beauty and the wisdom of the Dharma. So, Dawn, I invite you to light, we have 2 candles here, to excellent, Bob. Okay, so the second candle, this is the setting forth candle, and we would use the flame and all the good energy of this, the founding candle that is burning already, as we are set to embark on a bright new path here at Inside Santa Cruz. So I would invite you to take the light from the flame and light the new candle. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Welcome. Thank you.
I think there is time if there are other Sangha members who would like to offer a blessing or a bow.
Blessing.
I think it was maybe yesterday, time is okay. That we had that annular eclipse, and I watched the NASA live streaming of it, although it wasn't live. It was amazing, and what I got this sense of was the ways they talked about, like drawings on the walls of Chaco Canyon,
that human beings have been celebrating the sun and the warmth of the sun, and then there's citizen science studying like how do human beings and how do animals respond to the light going and coming, and what's that about? And then they said something about the sun, like this sun is the one that we know for sure nourishes life. And I've been sitting with Gil every morning since the beginning of the pandemic and just feeling that the Dharma is like the warmth of the sun. And that we're all as Sangha, like practicing and doing citizen science in the Dharma. And that it's just this ongoing tradition, and that's just what it's about, the whole mystery.
And perhaps if there's anybody in the Zoom world, they can raise their hand if they would like to offer a blessing too. Whoever's running the Zoom world.
Otherwise, it's scrolling on both ears.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm Dawn's cousin. And so I heard a lot about Dawn's journey over the years as she's progressed in their children's life. But I've been pretty separate from it until this moment. And when I got the invitation for this ceremony, it said would be a guiding teacher in meditation. But I didn't really think it would be that. This is what really around. So, I'm so deeply gone. And I know this person will know how long I've been used to it. So excited. Part of this, and so close to me. We'll get to speak around friendships. Thank you.
We also have a couple of people online if we'd like to.
All right, why don't we have the people online and Susan?
Okay. Nancy?
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. My name's Nancy. I've known Dawn for a little bit before the pandemic, certainly through a period of a lot of change. And my heart is so warm that you finally found the perfect spot and the right setting. And I'm so happy that you and the Insight Santa Cruz family have found each other. And I wish you the best, and I hope to be able to join you every now and then. So, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And Gregor?
Hello, dear Dawn, and everyone there. I just wanted to, well, of course, wish you so many blessings on this journey, and also hold up two aspects of your infinite heart that I'm grateful for, and that is knowing you as both a mystic and as a force for social and ecological justice. And this feels like just something to hold up of yours that I've known as you. I'm so blessed that you're bringing this to the community. Thank you.
We have a microphone here, Susan, please.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. This is hard for me. That's really wet. But
you all have made spiritual commitment to inclusivity here. It's made it so that I get to have this. So all of you all that have made this happen, thank you. And when I got to sit with you online, and you're kind of a superstar. When I saw you and learned who are keeping our spiritual.
Anyone else? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Just want to say thank you, Bob, and everybody that's built this center to where it is. Just phenomenal. And welcome, Dawn. I just was going to share quickly that I discovered Inside about 8 years ago, and it just really filled in a lot of missing pieces for me. And it's what I consider a life-changing event and a practice that I continue with today. So I know you probably know this, but I just wanted to reiterate the work being done here is life-changing. It's super important. And thank you for being here. I'm Jeff. Thank you, Don. Thank you all.
Anyone else or online?
There was a message in the chat.
There's a few text messages too.
The person with the hand online, please.
Sorry.
Samarine.
Hello, thank you. Congratulations, dear Dawn. I actually am very emotional, so I might start crying and have to stop quickly. I'm so happy for you, and I'm so happy for Insight Santa Cruz. And everyone already knows how much you love people, and I'm just speaking to affirm that also. I haven't known you long at all, but the thing is that I know you, and you know me. And that happened within our first group together. And you've touched my heart and changed me, truly transformed me in that meeting and then everything else that has come since then. And you are something special. And I'm grateful that I'm grateful for every single thing I had to go through to be able to call you one of my teachers and mentors and dear friends. Thank you. Congratulations. Massive congratulations.
And Mary Reynolds.
I just want to say, when the pandemic came, I immediately started going to morning meditations with Gil, which was such an amazing thing for me. And it was because of that that I met you, and you were one of my favorite subs. And when I heard that you were coming possibly to be our teacher at Insight Santa Cruz, when people would ask me, because I knew of you, I would say, oh, we're going to be really lucky if she becomes our teacher. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Gil. Thank you, all the our teachers from Insight Santa Cruz. And thank you for carrying on the tradition.
So I'm aware that there are two people that I would particularly like to thank who are here because I'm looking at them on my screen. And that's Dawn's parents who are with us. Barbara and actually, he doesn't have a name on my screen. So Daddy Neal. Anyway, it's so delightful that you're here and able to share all that you're hearing about your amazing daughter. So welcome, welcome, and thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, we've got one more on the screen. Linda, you're on if you unmute yourself.
Dawn, it's so wonderful to see you there. And I was just reminded that within San Francisco Zen Center, we regard every single position when people are in residence or whether they're just coming for a period of time as a training role. And that includes the teachers and I think in many ways, especially the abbot. And I have such complete trust in your capacity to take on this role because before you were ever a teacher, you were a learner. You love learning. You love opening your heart. You love opening your mind. And what a fabulous foundation that this is a realm in which you are fundamentally, you know how to soar in that. And through the nervousness and anything else that may arise, I have this deep love and trust for you. And I'm so looking forward to you flourishing and the Insight Sangha flourishing with you. Thank you.
Anyone here want to speak? I'm happy to pass the mic.
There are also some text messages that have come up in the rest.
Oh,
this is text messaging.
Okay, we have Linda Kittle, who's yes, but I don't really know how to put that in context because I don't know when she said that, but I'm sure she's in agreement with all of it. And Sadhu, whoever. And then we have one from
Mako.
I'm sorry I can't be there in person. I'm in the Zen monastery with terrible reception. I'm sending so much love and congratulations to Dawn, my best friend, and to the very lucky Sangha that gets to walk this path with her. That's wonderful, and I agree with that. Anyone else?
So wonderful to be here. I'm with Mary Grace, that I'm very teary. This is so emotional. It's so beautiful to be here, and thinking about that, I was reminded of I have this my phone open because of a quote from John or Donahue. But I want to say thank you for taking this on, and I don't know Dawn at all. We've only just met one time, but I know Tenzin, and I've known Tenzin for many years, and just the association of what happened between the two of you and also with Mary Grace and Bob, it just makes me know I'm gonna love you. I love you already. And I love Donna Donahue, who's an Irish writer, spiritual person, and this whole process reminded me of how we bring beauty into the world. And so part of this quote is about needing beauty, and it's about having a reverence of approach, which I think the Dharma teaches all of us, to respect others and love others and have a reverence for approach. So this is the quote. A reverence of approach awakens depth and enables us to be truly present where we are. When we approach with reverence, great things decide to approach us. Our real life comes to the surface and its light awakens the concealed beauty of things. When we walk on the earth with reverence, beauty will decide to trust us. The rushed heart and the arrogant mind lack gentleness and patience, lack the gentleness and patience to enter that embrace. Beauty is mysterious, a slow presence who waits for the ready, expectant heart. So I know beautiful things are going to come to you, Dawn, and to all of us with your being a guiding teacher. Thank you so much. Meg.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Here in person, online?
So I've known Dawn for many years. We have not had the fortune to interact too much in practice context per se, outside of the practice context of daily life. She's been a good friend for many years, and one of the things that I really, really appreciate and value about you is that you are always, and without thinking, right at hand with an encouraging word. You don't even have to prepare for it. It just feels like a natural, action for you. And you are by far one of my first meaningful, deep experiences of polyamorita. And I have no doubt that you will be that for me.
Oh, yes,
Yeah. It's not no longer a secret. Thank you again. I think I wouldn't be me if I didn't offer a bit of a challenge. So first I want to say thank you for the last meeting that we had when it was on the agenda about how to support the people of color. And so I'm saying this to you, and I'm talking to everybody listening too. People of color that would like to have a sit that supports dealing with racism on a daily basis. I appreciate you doing that, and I appreciate anybody doing that. As we know, the Buddha was a person of color. The Buddha was Asian, and we want that to be honored, and that that's not always happening for people. So I want to thank you for showing that in who you are. And continuing that. And also, as a woman, historically, women have not been compensated as much as men. So I encourage generosity towards the Sangha and towards Dawn.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone who has spoken so far.
So I think what we're going to do, thank you everyone. I think Dawn is sailing forward on an ocean of blessings at this point. And Dawn, I think you're going to close us out with refuges and precepts and sharing of merit and on into celebration. So thank you, thank you.
Can you still hear me? Right. Great. So, how many of you have taken refuge before? Thinking most. I'm just going to say a few words because there are people both here physically and in the Zoom room who are not Buddhist in orientation. So, going for refuge for the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The translation is literally walking for refuge. Walking for refuge. Acham, and go. And to me, it's a beautiful reminder that those of us who relate to this through the Buddhist lens, we're not just going for refuge to the historical Buddha. We're also walking within our own potential for freedom, our own potential for awakening, and that all of the people in our tradition and all traditions who have experienced the great heart opening and freedom that lends itself to serving humanity, to connecting with something larger, to the beauty of the potential of a free heart. Going for refuge in Dharma can mean going for refuge in taking refuge and seeking protection from the sacred teachings, in this case, the sacred teachings of Buddha. It's also very much walking with and within the lived Dharma of the practice, the unfolding of how things are when we meet reality with collaboration rather than conflict. To go for refuge in our own practice, our own understanding, whether it be Buddhist. And finally, going for refuge in Sangha, the third of what's called the triple gem. That's the wonderful monastic Sangha that has carried this lineage for millennia. It's also the Sangha of all awakened beings, then and now. And perhaps most salient for today, it's us. This Sangha, this community, the wonderful other Buddhist traditions and other faith communities with which we're so integrally interlinked. And the Sangha of the greater Santa Cruz, California, and all the other areas of the country and world where people are committed to goodness, to showing up for each other. For me, the Sangha is also the Sangha of all living beings, the interconnection that we share. So all of that, whatever threads of it resonate for you, pick up on those. And we'll do this call and response. You don't have to respond, you can just listen along. And I'm going to do the refuges in Pali, and I'll name what they are in English first. I go for refuge in Buddha, and then in the Dharma, and then in the Sangha. And then it gets repeated 3 times, Dutiyampi. That Pali word simply means for the second time. And Tatiyampi means for the third time. So if you're reciting something you don't understand, that's what you're saying. And if you're listening, that's what you're hearing. Ram Saranam Gacchami. Ram Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Now I'm going to very briefly offer the 5 precepts. The 5 precepts are 5 training rules, ethical precepts that are foundational in Buddhism. And the formulations vary a little bit tradition to tradition, but these are typically the bedrock. You can't hear?
A little bit louder.
Okay. Can you hear now? I think the microphone moved with all that chanting, sorry.
Okay.
So the 5 precepts, very simply, in their simplest form, are for the purpose of training together not to kill other living beings. They're not to take what is not given, not to steal. They are to refrain from sexual misconduct, to refrain from lying, divisive speech, or harsh speech, and to not become intoxicated in ways that cloud the mind and lead to heedlessness. So those are the simple ones. I'm going to just mention the corollary. It's the not killing lends safety, respect for life. It can even be celebration of life. Not taking what is not given extends a sense of safety, and in its highest form can be generosity, although contentment is equally profound. Not engaging in sexual misconduct can include being careful with our energies and celebrating the many diverse forms of sexual orientation and gender expression. So it can be a wider lens. And not lying, engaging in harsh or divisive speech can include finding ways to speak that are gentle, timely, truthful, and wise. It can also include simple restraint. And finally, not becoming intoxicated in ways that lead to heedlessness is a support for all of the others. A support for showing up with clarity, with kindness, with wisdom. And sometimes I'll include, for myself especially, not becoming intoxicated by getting pulled in too much to social media or news. So the addictive properties these days, the Buddha could not have imagined we would be carrying supercomputers in our pockets that sucked us in so long. So please take what elements of that work for you in your own way. And remember that these are not commandments in this tradition, they're training. They're for the purpose of becoming more present, more aware, in a way of offering the fundamentals of safety to ourselves and to our communities. So I'm going to say them in English, and those of you who feel you wish to, of this tradition or others who want to repeat them, you're welcome to do so. For the sake of our training together, I take the precept to not kill living beings.
I take the precept to not kill living beings.
For the sake of our training together,
For the sake of our training together,
I take the precept to refrain from taking that which is not given.
I take the precept to refrain from that which is not given.
For the sake of our training together,
For the sake of our training together,
I take the precept to refrain from engaging in sexual misconduct.
I take the precept to refrain from engaging in sexual misconduct.
For the sake of our training together,
For the sake of our training together,
I take the precept to refrain from false, harmful, or divisive speech.
I take the precept to refrain from false, harmful, or divisive speech.
For the sake of our training together,
For the sake of our training together,
I take the precept to refrain from being intoxicated in ways that cloud the mind and lead to heedlessness.
I take the precept to refrain from oscillation that cloud the mind and lead to heedlessness.
Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. means excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh. We have just a moment or two for offering of goodwill, kindness, and metta for yourselves. So to go inside and just notice however your heart is feeling. And feel into whatever goodness, whatever sense of kindness or compassion, generosity, goodwill. And breathing that in, letting it soak into your whole body. And breathing outwards, exhaling, offering those good wishes to those around you, those here in this room, those near and far. And all beings. Sending good wishes as far or near as they want to go. All beings seen and unseen, known and unknown, medium, short, or small. Young beings be free from this affliction and hatred. And may all beings know the highest joy of the world and freedom. My friends, may our practice here together be a cause and condition for greater peace, joy, clarity, wisdom, and freedom in your lives, in our lives. And may those benefits ripple outwards and out to the lives we touch and the lives they touch. May all beings everywhere be free.
Well, first time as a guiding teacher.
Thank you, everyone, for your kind attention and for your support. And I think there's a couple of announcements about transitioning to a less formal time here. We have a pop-up for those who would like to stay.
It's set up.
It's set up, it's ready, great, thank you. And deep bows to the Zoom room.